Just announced, U.S. Soccer Federation, that Mexico and Canada, they will be forming a joint bid for the 2026 World Cup.
Wow. So we would hold matches in Vancouver, Toronto, here in Mexico City, I would presume?
Yeah, so there's been rumors about this for a little while, and the U.S. has not had the World Cup since 1994, which to date is still the highest average attendance and the highest attended World Cup ever. And that was when they only had 24 teams. Since then, it has gone to 32 teams, and by the time 2026 comes around, it's going to be 48 teams. So that's a lot of teams, and that's important because that's why this joint bidding process has come about, because think of the number of countries in the world, continents, whatever you want to go with, that could host 48 teams. That means 48 individual training sites, 48 individual stadiums. To have that with FIFA requirements, which is they have to be of a certain level, they have to be up to a certain standard. The U.S. has that already. We could have done this bid alone, but we'll get into it, but inclusion.
It's really interesting because soccer has always been, and I've said this, it's Mardi Gras with a ball. It's global. It's big. It's communal. It's one of the reasons I really like it. So you could literally hold the World Cup here in Southern California. You could play a game every day, 2 games at the Rose Bowl, 2 at the Coliseum, 1 down at the Home Depot, and you could have a World Cup.
You could, yeah.
And maybe 1 a day in San Diego. So why are we including Canada and Mexico?
Well, so FIFA does not have a good history of being a clean organization, we shall say. So big new FIFA elections, new president comes in, Gianni Infantino. What he ran his campaign on was inclusion. And he's going to all the smaller countries around the world saying, we can make your piece of the pie bigger. His first thing that he does as FIFA president, first major thing, is he increases the number of World Cup teams from 32 to 48. And that's going to take place starting in 2026. And the reason he's doing that is that now the inclusion factor is important, because now you come to this United States bid, and everybody's known, we've just said it there, the U.S. could host this World Cup in California, but instead, we're going in this inclusion thing as well. And CONCACAF, which also didn't have a great history of being very clean organization, they've come together, the presidents of Mexico, U.S., and Canada. And I think that the U.S., and I'm just reading between the lines, I think they're putting their arms around their neighbors here in Mexico and Canada and saying, hey, if we all go together into this, if we're an inclusive bid, we're going to have a much better chance at getting the World Cup in 2026.